As a promise, this is my very special guest here. His return, the journey, like we want to get like the truth of what actually happened. Because word on the street that you got deported. But then I was like, if he got deported, how did he get back here? And for those of you guys who don't know, we actually went to school together. Did I get out before you? Or you did before me? I think I got out before you.
Yeah, like a year. You're like
a year difference. So
you're like a year ahead of me.
That is my old schoolmate, not classmates, schoolmates. So let's get to the nitty gritty again. First of all, before we get to it, introduce yourself to the people.
Man, just by way of introduction, I'm Cozy, aka Cozy Kamikaze, aka the King of Liberia, LIB's finest, man. You know, we're back in the city, back in the Twin Cities, and you know, we here. Been a long way, and I feel good with my homegirl. Y'all know her as Rachel the Diva or whatever, but you know, I know her as Rachel. But you know, it's an honor to be on this platform, and let me get a lot off my chest, a lot that the fans want to know, the industry want to know. So
we're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna get straight into it.
Right. What you want?
Did you get deported or not?
Okay, do we want the short answer or do we want the long answer?
We want the longer version.
You want the long version?
Yeah, the longer version.
Oh, so Liberian people, you know, and the rest of the world, no, I did not get deported from anywhere. Just to kind of clear the record, you know, and get it straight. I was born on the south side of Minneapolis, in a hospital called Abbott Northwestern Hospital. My father used to work there, and when he migrated to the States back in the 70s, and he met my mother, she came to America, and they had me there. So, simple as that.
He's a foreign citizen. He is a citizen of the U.S. That's what he's trying to tell y'all. So,
yes.
No, there was no deportation. Because I know from what I heard, they say you was a bad kid coming out, so your parents sent you back to learn some lessons.
Right, you could say that.
So did you learn your lesson?
It was part of it. Okay. You know, yeah, it was part of it. But again, when I chose to leave Liberia back then, you know, that was my own doing. I was old enough to make my own decision, even though my parents definitely were like, "Well, man, you come back home. You know, you over there, you misbehaving. You ain't got nothing good going on, you know, just come back and reset." So, yeah, but that's what it was, man. That's what it was, you know.
Well, we're glad to have you back here. So now we're going to get into the industry. So for those of you guys who don't know the story surrounding him, he was never deported. Again, this is my old classmate, old schoolmate of mine. Because I was like, no, and I was like, I stopped seeing. What really happened?
The Champlain Rebels.
Yeah.
But you know, we represent the Champlain Rebels, man.
Champlain Park High School. Okay. So now, we're going to get into this here. So you're back in the U.S., in Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. What's in store? What's next? What is the plan?
Oh, man, there's a bunch of things that's in plan. You know, more music, of course. Okay. You know, even though I guess you could say I had a semi-retirement, if you want to call it. But yeah, and the music, when I'm talking about music, it's not just music from me, but music from like artists, you know, back home that we work with. And we intend on taking it to the next level. You know, new music from me, from my peoples that I've been doing music with. You know, we got a clothing line that's in store. You know, definitely we got that. We got several business ventures that we're getting into. You know, so that's what we're doing, man. We came back and we knew and improved, you know.
That's good, because your story can actually be the inspiration to any young man out there that sometimes you can find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you can always make a turnaround in your life. So I'm really glad for that. Yeah, now, anyone specifically that you plan on doing any collaboration with, doesn't have to be Liberian or African. Anyone who's your superstar, whether they're Americans or whatever part of the world they're from.
Right.
Any collaboration story?
I mean, to be honest, like, I'm not really looking, you know, per se for anybody in particular or whatever. I mean, anybody that's in the game that's willing to work with me, that, you know, we can vibe and have a collaboration on whatever. I'm willing, you know, I'm willing to work. Liberian artists or you know, American artists, Afro artists, like whatever. It don't matter. You know, I'm open to do. Once you know the vibe is there, we can make something happen.
I feel that.
You know, yeah.
But is there any like dream collaboration, like your favorite artist that you would love to be on the song with, or you would love to have them on your song?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's hard to say one, but I'll try to nail it down to one. So
Okay.
I would, you know, I would be honored to do a song with Kiss. You know, Jadakiss.
Oh, he's dope.
Jadakiss, the whole Locks, they've been, you know, one of my favorite groups. Them and Bone Thugs and Harmony, they were my favorite groups coming up. So, but Kiss, I'll, you know, be honored to do a song with Kiss, just to rip some of them LIB bars, you know.
There you go. Maybe Kiss might come, you know, by and see this interview one day. He might reach out to you.
We had a conversation before.
Oh, okay. So you actually spoke to him.
Yeah, it was love. That was like around COVID time, like a little bit after COVID. Yeah, chopped it up with him. He's like, yo, keep doing your thing. So that just you know, for people like us, just that alone, for him to recognize, you know, what we were doing, Liberians, you know, being in the hip hop industry and stuff like that. So that's enough for me, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back again to your personal life. We saw you got married. Congratulations, by the way, to that lucky woman.
Thank you.
Now, what actually prompted? Oh, he's showing his ring. He's off the market, ladies. What actually prompted you to say, like, she's the one? I'm gonna get married, settle down. Like, what was the decision?
Well, you know, when God sends you an angel, you don't think twice about it. You know, it's in this society we live in, especially in Liberia. You know, our young men and women, they fall prey to, you know, a lot of what's going on in the society as far as drugs, as far as, you know, mental health issues and, you know, just things like that. So when you find somebody good who is there for you, you know, you stick with that person, and that's who she was. You know, my wife has been one of the most blessings in my life, you know, so it was just, we've been together for 10 years, you know, before we got married.
That's a big
And it was, the marriage, honestly, was just formality. We were already tight, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was that. That's
what's up. Okay, and then we see you drop a photo of your son over. How old is he? He was graduating from like high school?
Yeah. My first son, my baby boy, you know, he just graduated from Park Center. Okay. You know, had to you know, keep tradition back in Brooklyn Park. You know, yeah. But he just turned 18, so yeah, he's getting ready to go to college. That was one of the proudest moments in my life for him to,
for any family.
Yeah, graduate from high school. And like I said, you know, we live in a society where anything can go wrong. And, you know, especially, you know, living in America with, you know, gun violence and drugs and, you know, things of that. But he still was able to rise above everything and get to where he needs and know that it's a bigger goal out there. So,
yeah, absolutely. You know, that is a struggle for our young men
yeah.
coming out here. You know, there's a lot going on. They get peer pressure, pushing to things they don't want to do. So for him coming up, clean up out of that and have his heads up and going to college, kudos to you guys, the parents, because it's very hard. I don't have the kids, but I'm speaking for all the kids, and I got nieces and nephews, and I know how they act up sometimes. So when you get to the stage where they actually made it out of there, that is a good thing to actually celebrate. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about would be like, where do you get your inspiration song for your music, and who's your favorite role model and why? Let's start with inspiration.
Yeah, that's a good question, because, you know, the thing about inspiration, I mean, it can come from anywhere.
Okay.
You know, it can come from this podcast right here. I might leave from here today and go and, you know, make a song on my experiences that I had today. So it comes from everywhere, you know, for us being hip hop artists or rap artists or whatever you want to call it, poets or lyricists or whatever, we use our real lives as, you know, art. Yeah, so like a lot of my music is real life, you know, I mean, giving you that real raw, you know, it might not be pretty all the time, but it's real. You know.
That's what's up. Okay.
But you know, that's where my inspiration comes from my life, the struggles I've been through. And also, you know, some of my friends, relatives that are around me, their, you know, lives inspire me to do what I do, you know. So once in a while I may write a story or a rap or song about, you know, something that's going on with one of my family members. I try not to make it too personal, you know, but at least just for people to get, you know, feedback from what's going on and get a reaction. So that's what it is. As far as who, like,
your role model?
Yeah, my role model, I mean, it's many. You know, it's not like I got one. You know? Yeah, it's just impossible for me to be, you know, at this point in my life and only have one role model. But I mean, my biggest role model was my father. You know, he passed away last year. And my father was my biggest role model because just what he represented, you know, he represented something that was bigger than himself. You know, he represented his county, his tribe, and his country. So, you know, to me, like, that's what a role model should be. Somebody who is selfless. Somebody who's not thinking about only themselves, you know, because, you know, we grew up in a third world country. Like, it gets no rougher than that. You know, that's a third world country. And I'm not taking anything away from the situations in the urban area or ghetto areas of America, but you know what's going on in the third world is like triple, 1,000, quadrillion times what's going on in the hoods in America. You know, so going through that, like a lot of my friends, even some family members, they didn't have any father. You know, like I can count the amount of friends or relatives I had that had fathers in their lives. You know, and I was lucky and blessed to have one, and he was like a father to everybody. So that was my biggest role model, man, as far as his life, you know. Yeah.
I like that. Now, when you got back, Liberia, what was like your first experience? Yeah, your experience on the ground. Like, you've been born here, and now you go back to Africa, and like how was like your reaction your very first day? How did you feel? Like the people around you, like.
Bureaucracy. Liberia and our fun country. Yeah, you know, Liberia is, and when I got there, because okay, so like I always been back and forth. You know, my parents would take me to Liberia because my father was heavily involved into politics and his own business and his family in Liberia. So he was always there. I mean, like, America been in too much. You'll come up here and every like 1 or 2 years, you go right back to Liberia. So we were always, you know, going back. So I was able to connect more than some of my friends and peers here.
Right, I never been back home either.
I never been back home and stuff like that. So in 2009, you know, but before that, I was always, you know, back and forth. And then I came back after the war, you know, and I graduated high school from here. And then it was 2009 that I chose to go back. And when I went back, I mean, it was crazy because it was after the war. You know, they had just celebrated their first presidential term without any type of conflict in between there. You know, and it was a rebuilding process. Excuse me, throughout every sector of the country, from the roads, from the educational system, from the healthcare system. You know. People still traumatized and PTSD, and because there are no like social programs that help people, you know what I mean, with that diagnosis, people running around prison pool, they're all on the street, like the single minute, you know, like Liberia is really a crazy place. So it was a culture shock, but because I was like a little bit back and forth, I kind of like adjusted quick. You know, I adapted. That's the word I'm looking for. I adapted quicker than, you know, an average person would. You know, Liberia on my home. All my people were there. I was always back and forth. A little bit of time I went to high school there. You know, went to a little bit of elementary there, school, you know, so, but it was crazy.
So you kind of blended in.
Oh, I blended in. That's how I became the king of Liberia. You know what I mean? It was, people got mad when I called myself the king of Liberia, but it was like, bro, come on, man. You know, but
because it was like so weird, because I was like, I stopped seeing you, and then it's like, oh, he's back in Liberia, and then a few years later you pop up on my timeline rapping. And I was like, wait a minute, when did he start rapping? You know, like, because he used to be a very shy person in school, just so you know, like Cozy would not really talk like that. So I was like, that's not a Cozy, you know. And I literally like sent that to Jason.
Oh wow!
I sent that shit like, yeah, you didn't know that he's back. I was like, no way, that cannot be him. So I was like, he's a rapper? And I was like, when did he start rapping? And I was telling people, like, you know him? I'm like, yeah, I do. So, and I know, like, when you started rapping, I started seeing your stuff, I felt really proud. I was like, oh, that's Minneapolis. That's my girl right there. I F with you. And then so, like, as time go by, then you got entangled into some beef situation back there with, like, few other rappers. Like, I know Christoph. And then Bucky, were you and Bucky cool?
Nah, Bucky, that's my family, so.
Yeah, because we all from Lima County, you know? So we're supposed to be doing that together.
Yeah, no,
but
that's my family.
break it down, what was the actual situation with you and Christoph? Because what I heard was when you got on ground, so you, both of you, because you guys, the king, and he felt intimidated, like, this is his ground, this is his city, this is his people, he runs this shit, and you coming here trying to take over. And I would feel that way too if someone new coming in my territory trying to take my people away. But that's what I heard. That's what I heard the words on the street.
Right.
But you tell me what actually happened.
So that's a good question, man. That's a good question. First of all, you know, shout out to my brother Christoph. You know, I got love for him. He got love for me. You know, we've been, since that whole episode, we've done music together. I was at his mother's funeral. He was at my dad's funeral, came to pay respects, you know, and we really keep it mutual like that. But from my perspective, you know, because
we're probably going to have Christoph here
to
give his story too. So let's hear your side, because there's three sides to every story. So let's hear your side.
Right. So what happened was, okay, I dropped a song that was called King of Liberia, right? And King of Liberia dropped, and I was basically, it was a diss to like all the top rappers in Liberia, or you know, at that time.
Oh, you went for war, bro.
Oh yeah.
You can't come into people's territory and just start like flexing
was,
like that.
Man, I was young and wild, like I was like, yo. So I just dropped the joint, and nobody responded. Like all the rappers that I called on the track, you know, and they were all big dogs. They were shutting down shows, like, you know, they were the top names, Tycoon, Lucky Bucket, you know, I just called everybody. It wasn't nothing like personal, but you know, it was just a rap, you know what I mean? So nobody responded, and you know, Christoph took upon himself, like, you know what, send it, Bobby, they ain't won't respond. You know, I'm gonna step up to the plate. But now let me just give you some history before that though. Again, what I'm saying, this is the first time like I'm explaining this, you know, and so this is like for real history that we doing on my homegirl show. So I'm telling y'all please listen, man. So before that, my company I had was an entertainment and event planning company, and we used to do promotions for the basketball league in Liberia. And Christoph used to play basketball. You know, he used to play for one of the teams in the league. So, you know, we were out there, we would connect sometime. He'd come like, yo, bro, you know, I like your work, man. You know, that was before anybody knew who Christoph was. He wasn't in the game like that yet. You know, Jackie used to do his beats, his brother, you know, used to, you know, do his beats. And he was also, you know, just coming up in the mix, you know. So that was like our relationship before then. You know, so it wasn't like we was beefing crazy or nothing like that. Nah, it's just that when I dropped that song, he decided, yo, I'm gonna take upon myself
to respond.
Right, to respond to it, you know, and boom, that's how that happened. And he responded. It was crazy, you know, everybody. So let me explain what happened though with that. Like, so I'm in the studio, right? At that time, I'm in the studio. My boy Sino was an artist too. He's a hip hop artist from Liberia. He's my family, you know. And me and him were in matter of fact, I was in the studio, and then he runs in the studio. He like, bro. I'm like, what? He like, man. I'm like, what happened? What's up? He like, yo, man, they picking Christoph talking crazy. I'm like, what you mean? Like, yo, turn on the radio. Go turn on the radio. We sat back, you know, and you know, cause when he dropped it, they was playing it all
back.
Yeah. So we like, all right, put it on. Let's listen. So we put it on. We listening, you know, and I'm just like, all right, you know, I hear you. I hear what you talking about. You know, he like, bro, you gotta come back now. You know what I mean? He amping here like, yo, you know, like, oh, we gotta do this. Like, okay, we was looking for a response. We got a response now, even though it's not from who we targeted, but
right.
I mean, you know, and so that's how that, you know, that's how that came about. And, you know, the history is there. We went back and forth, you know, people voted on it or whatever it was, whoever that y'all say won, you know, I'm not here to, in my head, I won. In Christoph head, he won. So, yeah, we could just leave it at that, you know. You know what I mean? But, yeah, that was that. And, you know, later on, we ended up,
being cool, scratch it out.
Yeah, we scratched that whole thing out, and that was that, man. You know, the whole industry was happy that we came together because it was turned into something else. Right. You know, because a lot of my guys,
like East Coast versus West Coast,
you know,
Tupac versus BD thing.
Right. You know, we don't need that in that industry right now. Right. You know, we all still trying to get money and trying to do what we need to do. So let's not take it there. We ended up scratching it. So yeah.
Because I want to ask you again, because I experienced it myself a couple of times I've been back home, that when we come from here in the entertainment industry, like, they don't want to F for us over there. Like, you, like an outsider. You know, when you come in over there, like, oh, you trying to take my spot, trying to get me, you know, off the spotlight. Because that's been something that we have experienced years after years. We have talked about this here, that we are all one, and it shouldn't be like the people in the diaspora versus the Liberians, you know, that live in Liberia. We are all like one people. Like, did you actually experience that? That, like, how do I call it, that, what's the word I'm looking for?
I know what you're
like that division.
Yeah.
Where you from over there, we're not even messing with you. Like, you're not one of us. And then you're speaking, call what, series? Also too.
Yeah, well.
You're speaking series. But did you, like, experience that at all when you first went?
Absolutely. I did.
Okay.
And it's good that you brought that up. You know, it's very good that's something that needs to be discussed. And I think I'm one of, but I'm one of, because there's many other people that can relate to this situation as much as I can and try as much to bridge that gap. You know what I'm saying? So that's good that you talk about that. So when I got in the game in Liberia, right, when I started doing music actively, yes, there was that, you know, but it may, man, you know, you can rap, but it may not see easy rapping, you know, you know, like, it's just, you know, and like Liberian people that live in Liberia, when you come from the diaspora, even if you're not on that time, you just trying to go and do your thing, they will still look at you as a threat.
Yeah.
Or look at you like, oh, you know, he's competition or whatever like that. So yes, I experienced that firsthand, and that is one of the reasons I did that song King of Liberia. Because I was feeling like I can rap just like y'all.
Right.
And half of y'all even better than y'all. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking what y'all doing, but I'm just keeping it real. So why y'all not gonna give me my respect? You're gonna give me my respect when it comes to this rap. You know, so yes, there is that. And yes, sometimes some artists from the diaspora, they do go over there and think that, you know, they bigger than the artists over there, and that's how some of them end up flopping. Like, you think you bigger than an artist in Liberia, and you go over there, you try to do a show, and you don't connect with who you need to connect with, your show is going to flop. I don't care who you are, you know, so it's that too. But being in Liberia since I was there and being active in the music industry, people are coming together more.
Now.
You know, more now. You know, they're understanding that we need to come together, we need to be unified in order to have competition with. We shouldn't be competing amongst ourselves.
Exactly.
We need to be competing with the artists that's in these countries that's blowing up in Nigeria, South Africa, America, that's doing their thing. That's what we need to be, you know, competing with. So exactly, not each other. So it's coming along, but yes, that's still, it exists. It's the reality of it. You know, that, you know, so the Liberian artists sometimes look at the diaspora artists like, oh, they want to come over here and take over. Like, no, man.
Right.
The artists, they just want to come, you know, and
just
link up.
Just vibe, like meet your fellow. Because we like some of the music from back home. We got some of our favorite artists. We got our favorite artists here too. So we go by like, hey, we just want to just hang out, just chill. And I know it's not just the entertainment industry, but just being here is a threat to someone that lives in Africa. That's a threat, especially for Liberia. It's like, first of all, we came here by force, just so you guys know that, okay?
It's the war that brought.
You guys all know there was a civil war that erupted in our country.
Yeah.
We weren't like, oh yeah, we just want to leave our country and can't stay in another man's land, okay? We came here by force. It's not our fault that we got here, as most of us as refugees. So when we stay here for 10, 20, 30 years and we go back trying to reconnect, that we get that cold shoulder, we get brushed off. Right. You know, something you try to say hi to someone, like they look at you, like we friends, we follow each other on social media. Why am I saying hi to you for something? You looking at me sideways, like looking at me funny and something like, I didn't like it at all. And there's a lot of people that did that just rubbed me in the wrong way. So the last time when I went, I didn't even try to even F for anybody else. I mean, shout out to Hot FM, they're my family, like DJ Blue, Cypher, we're from here. Those are family.
Definitely. Yeah,
they always show me love when I go there. But then these new people afterwards come out and make it seem like we're in competition. Like we're not in competition at all. Like we have worked so hard to get this industry up there. It started from the US, just so you guys know. I don't know why it's so hard for people to understand that, but we started pushing the culture here before they even got on and say, you know what, people are actually listening. We can actually make music. Our music can actually go that far. But we're only making music just for them. Just for them right there, just listen to it. It wasn't crossing over to us. We were listening to that. So for us to say, you know what, we're going to play the music over there, we're going to play the music back here, and we're going to join in, we're going to try to create an industry. But to create that industry, we need unity. And because there's no unity, it's hard for the industry to stand as its own. And that's what we struggle with. And we say this for us that been doing this for 10, 15 years plus. We know what we're talking about. There's no way we're going to go anywhere with the division. Like you over there, I'm over here, or I got 5 hits, or I'm on tour, and you're not on my level, you ain't going on tour yet, you ain't got no hits. Like we all are one people. So that's the reason why I always ask like this question, like, you know, when you go back to your experience, the same thing, like how did you actually, you know, break that whole circle with you being there? Like when you experienced it, like how did you overcome it?
So we just kicked doors down. Like, what you gonna do? Now my country here too.
Exactly.
Like, you not gonna let me? What you would do? Like, where was show that's popping? My music popping too. I'm on the show. Like, as a matter of fact, we got our own show. You know, we just had to listen.
So you just went forcefully, like, I'm gonna take it, whether you guys like it or not. I'm here. We're here. We're gonna do this together.
I'm telling you, that's how we got in the door. Me, my brother, who used to be my manager at the time, Clem Yuri, right? We would. Look, when we got like shows coming up and we need sponsorship or we need people we need to see, it don't matter what part, you can be in the corporate area or wherever. When we're coming to see you, we come to see you, we buy you in the office, you have to say we didn't want who we in the office. Like, you know, like we going in the radio stations, like, what's up? Hey, look, we got this song, play that joint. You know, y'all playing other American artists and all that thing that, yeah, this a Liberian artist play. You know, that's what we had to do. We had to literally bulldoze our way into the industry, you know, and again, like I said, you know, once the people realize that, oh, but man, you know, a Liberian man too, ain't nothing he can do. Yeah, they just have to embrace you, you know.
I just think one of the other things that also had you do the breakthrough there was because you were on ground and because you felt like you were deported, so you're not going to go back, come back here. So you figure one of them too, like, hey, man, go man, you're us, man, you ain't going nowhere. So I think that plays a part too because you stayed there for so long. So they felt like you're not going back. So you were not even considered American or something.
Right. Exactly. No, you're right. Because at that time it's been so long and it's like, okay, the man here with us, like you said. So, you know, we can do it. He one of us, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm one of y'all, but again, I'm a bit different though.
Right.
You know? So yeah, that's crazy.
All right. Now with the entertainment industry, and we had started this maybe like 15 years ago before we actually got out there. Like, so now we're in 2025. What is your view on the industry so far? What do you think about the Liberian entertainment industry? It's your honest opinion.
Yeah, my honest opinion.
What do you think that we're getting better at? What can we improve on?
So overall, if I was to give it, let's before I even started explaining, if I could give a grade. Right? A grade of 100% out of 100%, I would grade us at what the passing grade to the minimum passing grade at 70%. I will give us 70%.
Okay.
You know, overall grade, I will give us 70% because there's so many things, you know, that we need to work on. We need to improve on. Like you asked, what we need improvement in. and things like that. When I left America in 2009 and I went to Liberia, I got to Liberia June. I bought my ticket. It was set for June 1st, and I got in Liberia 2009 June 2nd. When I got to Liberia, only Nigerian music were playing in Liberia. I was on the road one day and I asked we were just riding around and the radio was playing. And I was hearing all these songs, like for probably like 30 minutes, whatever. And I'm like, yo, what's up with it, man? And who these guys or whatever, the Liberian artists? They're like, excuse me, the Liberian artists, like all them men and Nigerian men, J. Martin,
P Square,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, those were the guys who were dominating the Liberian industry pretty much, and then Liberian radio. There was only a few guys back then who were, making noise, like Tycoon,
Nigga Blow.
Nigga Blow.
Lucky Bucky.
Yeah, Lucky Bucky, Mr. Smith. Then later on when that 2009, like when I got there, when I went back that time, Pity the Best, then it started coming up. Pity was coming up. Killer Lou at that time, he was like, he was already popping. People were coming up, but still, for the most part, Liberian artists were zero. They didn't recognize us. They used to laugh at us. You know what I mean? Like, being a Liberian artist is like, yo, wait a minute, man. You know what I mean? You know how Liberian people looking already. You know what I mean? Like, so, like our music was not playing on the radio like that. Like, and that's why you talked about Hot FM. We got to give people their flowers while they alive. Now, I'll be here from now to Judgment Day trying to list everybody who needs to be, respected in the game. But as far as just for Liberia and the music that's heard now and the reason, we got to thank Hot FM, because Hot FM was one of the only radio stations back then that was playing only Liberian music. They'll play other music, but I mean mostly Liberian music. Blues, Cypher, all them over there, you know what I mean? Like, for real. So we got to give it to them.
Shout out to Hot FM.
Yeah, so that's what it was, that's what it was. And everybody just started working on the game because people was tired of that. It was like, but why, we in our own country and y'all don't want to play our music? Yeah, like what? And and I can honestly say that, again, you can't toot your own horn, but you got to give the truth. And the truth is, I was one of those artists that helped DJs to play Liberian music in Liberia, because my music was good. They were like, because I came from here on that straight hip hop, like real hip hop. You could compare it to any hip hop around the world. So it was undeniable, So they like, okay, even though the man, he come from America, this and that, but his music is undeniable. He makes good music. So I was one of those artists among all the artists then that helped, the game to elevate. Back then, this was even before KY and them had the LMA. Like back then we were the ones that was getting nominated for awards before people even knew about the awards. So yeah, man, that's what it was. And like I said, 2009 when I got there, it was just dormant, and then it started growing.
So we have improved.
Oh yeah,
in the past year.
So that's the point I wanted to get to. So from there, right, where Liberian music ain't even used to play, no artists were coming here on tour doing none of that thing, till 2025. Now you got artists making sustainable income from streams on the sales from the music. You got artists that's going on tour around the world, not only in America but around the world.
Yeah.
A Liberian artists, doing that. It was crazy, man. When I got back, I've been gone 16 years from America. When I was here, Liberian music, Afro music, none of that used to play in Brooklyn Park, no Minnesota, baby. I came to Brooklyn Park and then Liberian music all over, African music all. I'm like, what? Like,
how did this happen?
Yeah. So it's all love, man. Like whoever, all of us that are, part of it, including you, like promoting and making stuff happen. Like, you know,
yeah.
that's what it is now. So the question, to answer your question, yeah, that's where we have come from, and that's why I give us 70%, because we still got a ways to go. You know, we can't get too complacent and be like, oh yeah, we doing it all, and nah, we ain't going nowhere yet.
What do you
we ain't doing the O2 arenas yet.
Like, what do you think we need improvement in so far?
That's good.
Like sound engineers, like.
Okay, so what do I think we need improvement in?
So far.
One, and it comes in different folds, because you got the diaspora Liberian artists, then you got the Liberian artists that live in Liberia, right? I've been in Liberia, so I know what it is, so I will start from there. The artists, the music industry in Liberia right now, one of the most important things we need is several things. One is having a platform for the artists to monetize their music digitally. You know, like, artists need to be able to go and put their music on a platform and you know, sell it, or people stream it, and so they can make money off it, instead of people just going and downloading it
for free
and sending it, you know, all over. Even though, as a fan of music, I know that right now music, the fan, he wants it for free. Right. You know, but at least, even if it's not free, let them be able to stream it, because that streaming is money. You stream it, at least you get, you know, your little 1 or 2 cents from it. So that's one. That's we need to be able to monetize, you know. And two, coming with monetization, that means we need better intellectual property control. You know, people need to be able to understand, first of all, what the intellectual property is and how to control it and exploit it and make a sustainable living for themselves as an artist. You know, so those two, they go hand in hand, because if you don't have your music copyrighted the right way, I don't care if you get 1,000 gazillion streams, you're not going to get the right amount of money that you're supposed to get as an artist. You know,
true.
So those are just a few things. And then one thing, it may sound cliche, but we just gotta support each other, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, yeah, you see the Nigerian men and the Ghanaian, shout out to them, because they took it to the next level. You know what I mean? And people don't know that we were ahead of all these guys with high life music. We started, you know, West Africa, Liberia was one of the funders of that. You know, but because of the war and our lack of systems and the destruction of our systems, and, you know, we were looking for food to eat at the time.
Right, not
and
music.
Right, exactly. All these countries came, and you know, the Ivorians that came with the Coupe de la Quai, you know what I mean? Like, they rose above us, but, you know, we were the originators. So,
and I definitely agree with you with the monetization and they're getting paid. And I say this to Liberian artists all the time, especially the one in Africa. Like, you guys are so concerned with fans and followers on social media, and that is not putting money in anybody's pocket.
Right. I mean,
we definitely need to. Yeah, like, you can get 1 million fans and followers, but it's not equivalent to your bank account. You're not doing nothing. And we have had this conversation times with our numbers of monetization. I remember a couple of years back, my homegirl Bernice, C. Liberia Clady, who runs C. Liberia Clady.
Shout out Bernice, man. Shout out Bernice. Right? I gotta holler at you. You know, I gotta holler at you for real.
Period. That's my girlfriend for over 15 years. And I brought her actually in the industry. Like, Bernice was way up in Japan, and she saw how we're pushing the culture here. And she reached out to me. We should love for that, because some people would be like, all perky, like, oh, I'm not gonna talk to her. But she's like, I love what you guys are doing. I want in on it. How can I do this? And that was some radio at that time. I was, you know, with like radio to call FM something, like Radio Liberia FM or something like that. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I actually showed Bernice like how to start her own live, how to do it. And Bernice actually came back to the US, and we invited her over to the LEX. We were the first people that gave Bernice her shot on LEX. So Bernice was always like such like, nobody would listen to me, but Rachel did that. And I also want to kind of visit like Hot FM. And that's what I say. I always shout out Cypher the King and DJ, because we from here. You know, we're all from here. When he used to do, like, when I first met them, they were selling Snickers, just so you know. They had tennis shoes with LIB on it. And like booty shorts and stuff. They were the first that started the whole franchise with like Liberians thing. And I don't know what I went, but it was something they had in ATL. It was a lot of Liberians. And I
Yeah,
said,
that's
so
that's
cool.
that's what it be at Cypher and Blue. That's what
Yeah, I said, this is so cool. I actually purchased a booty shorts. I think the tennis shoes was expensive. Like, I can't afford it. The tennis shoes, but I would get the booty shorts. Few years later, I'm on radio, and Cypher reached out to me. He's like, oh my God. And that time they were just kind of like forming, like at FM. Okay, they were not like big. Like, he's like, sis, I really admire what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Keep pushing the culture out there. Even like Hassan would reach out to me, and Blue would reach out to me. My first vacation after 20 years of being away, DJ Blue and Cypher invited me over to Hot FM. I'm gonna give them the flower. They were the only people that saw. They were like, hey, and that's when Master Queen was just getting started. Like, we got a girl here. And we like, you know, we want you to show her around. We want you like to come and watch, because like my show at that time, I was in studio, but my show was on a web radio. Okay. But I was still in studio.
Right, I remember.
Yeah, I was in the web radio.
The web radio series.
Right, so I really didn't have that experience, but only to work my own stuff around. So they were like, hey, Rachel, they were so excited to like introduce me to Master Queen. Like, this is what she's doing. I was in studio with Master Queen. I was like, this is so cool. I like it, because at that time, I was the only female that was doing it. Right. No other female was doing that. So I was like, cool. We cool. After that, I can't hear Master Queen again. Like, Master Queen is a superstar now. All of a sudden now, like, we can't talk anymore. Like, she's way over. I was like, okay, like, it's not competition. You got someone else in the game along with me. I love it, because sometimes the burden is too much to kind of carry with you. Right. So I was like, okay, I like it that you guys are doing this, but we don't have to be enemies. You know, we don't have to not talk to each other. Right, when I come up here, I should be able to come up to you. We should be able to have a conversation. We should have a vibe. But the thing there is, once they start getting the little attention on social media, I say social media, okay? The thing that they already arrived. Like, they already did. And that is the issue that I have with a lot of them. And that is my issue with a lot of them. Am I going to give some people their flowers? Yes, I'll give my flower to Sweet. Sweet never forget what I did for her when she went on Project Friend. I was able to get about 50 voters, bought them on data to go and vote for her. So that part, Sweet always remember me for that. Danch coming over here, was she very ungrateful? Yes. When you say Danch coming here, I was the very first person to make Danch the very first Liberian artist to come on tour in the US. No one ever done that before. But again, it took time for us to get there, because Nigerian music was in so much rotation. And they were listening to our music. I remember when I used to put Friday the 7 minute, be like, when I saw when I made la people can be me sister, when I see la people can be this, which I don't mean nothing in our ear. And I wanted to tell people this story.
That's how it was until it wasn't like that no more.
When I was on radio, the very first time I was on radio, Dan sent me this song, The Vex. I broke the Vex record on radio. I broke it. He sent me the song. He's like, can you play this song? I listened to the song in the back. I said, oh my God, what is the Vex again? Like people are gonna crush me, because every time they call, Richard, they only request Nigerian music. I'm like, baby, why are you requesting Nigerian music? I got Liberian music. They're like, oh, can I miss it with yourself?
That's crazy.
So he reached out to me in my inbox. At that time, we didn't have no live on Facebook. He said, hey, I got this song. Can you play this song for me, please? That's not the, oh my God.
On the web series?
Yeah, on the web series.
Right.
He's like, can you play? Because he saw a lot of people listening to my song. I had a lot of people online. I was like, okay, I'll play it. So I kind of like darkened a little bit. I kind of like pushed the song to the side, because I was like, I don't want like people to curse me up. Like, I'm playing, what the heck is The Vex, you know? So I pushed it to the side, and I'm logging out like, okay, it's my time. I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys next week. And he inboxed me again like, sis, you didn't play my song. What are you doing? He said, okay, play the song. If you don't like it, I'm not going to bother you. If they like it, we good. So I was like, okay, you know what? I just got one song for this new artist. I'm just going to drop it. And I literally like put that song on. And I decided, where it was winter, I started to put my coat on. And next thing you know, all my phone light up. Everybody started calling it. Who's that? Who's that? We like that song. I was like, and look, we got a hit. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's this young guy called Danch. You know, he called Danch. He sent me the song. Like, we love the song. We like the song. Next thing he was in my breast, like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I was like, okay, when I get off air, I'm gonna connect with you, and then we can see how we can make this blow. So I got off air, and I was like, hey, let's get merchandise, let's get stuff out there, let's get hats, hoodies and stuff for people to come and, become part of the culture. Yeah. And so I say that because like people don't ever give you your flowers. Would he ever sit in the interview and tell people this? No, he wouldn't at all. He wouldn't tell people this. But I gave him his first break ever. I played that song. Even Kima, when he dropped Kima, he sent it out to me. I was the first person that got Kima.
Them two Jones were
I was the first person that got Kima. We were literally at the LEA when he dropped Kima. He sent Kima over. At that time, he had a manager that we were cool, a girl called Alice. And then he called Alice, and he was like, why didn't you get us some good British Alice? And I were in the car. And he was like, why didn't you get a song to Bernice and Rachel? They're gonna listen to it. Because like we were a big deal to him at that time.
Right.
Like I need their honest opinion what they think about the song. And she was like, oh, I forgot what's in the song. And then we got the phone. She was like, oh yeah, Dance Jack dropped this song, came out. I was like, but why are you holding on to it? We put the MP3 player in the car, we put it on, and we were like, oh my God, this is a good hit. And we started playing that song. People started asking for the song. Like, I don't have the original. You got to go ask him for it. But I kind of like the song. And he was like, oh, y'all like the song? Like, yeah, people love Kima. We got to put Kima out. But he was even testing the water. He was like, let me just test it and see if like people actually like Kima. And they gravitated towards it.
They're going to rock with it.
They love it. So I say this like, well, we have, you know, equip them to like make good music. We're going to play it out here. Now, how do we make you guys make money off your music?
That's what
Other than come, because not everybody's gonna get visa to come over here to come and tour.
Right.
How can you make your music and still be in Liberia?
Right.
And that's when we launched this like brain entertainment industry. We said, okay, let's start the industry here. They said no. They said, oh no, you guys in the diaspora, you guys can run the industry over there. You guys gotta run it in Liberia, okay? But in order for us to run the industry, we need a music hub. The music hub is how the Nigerians get paid and the Americans get paid, because everybody has a social or number attached to them that when they're song that screens, they get dollar put in their account or whatever money put in their account. So it got to start from here. How are we supposed to get an I-10 number for you guys in Liberia? We try to explain this to them. Nope. It was Weezy. It was Didi. They are opposed to it. They said we're trying to run stuff from here. We're trying to control them. Like, no, we're not. We have the resources over here. That's why it has to be here. And I try to tell them that even the Nigerians, that music hub is in Europe. It's not in Nigeria. Nigerian music hub is in Europe, because they understand that they need that numbers to go along with it, and that only over there they can actually get that numbers for the artists to actually get paid. So Nigeria,
it goes hand in hand, you know.
Exactly. So they agree for that music hub to be built there, but they still have the artists based in Nigeria that are getting paid. So when they ask, when they release one song, or when Flavor release one song, or Davido, it goes global the same second, because their hub released the music on every platforms. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere is released instantly. We don't have that capability to do that all in one. You have to go upload the music to YouTube, and you can't go upload. No, these people hub just send everything together all at once. So we said, okay, we need to build ours here. But because the people back home felt like they felt intimidated by us, they refuse. Now we have an industry that is just static. Who's working? The artists are putting the work, but who's actually running the industry to actually make decisions? Nobody. And when we bring this conversation out to them, they don't want to have this conversation, but everybody thinks we have an industry. I bring it to say that we don't have an industry because it's in non-existence. Who runs it?
And that's, see, that's the thing too. Like, listen, when you listen to a lot of Liberian people, right? You ain't gonna do nothing. You know, because like some people, they have their reservations that are valid.
Yeah.
But other people, they just fear because, you know, they think small. They're not thinking, you know, like the way a visionary would think. Like, look, this, whatever we're doing is for the future 10, 20, 30 years down the line.
Yep.
You know, so that artists can benefit from this. And not only artists, just people like that are stakeholders to the music industry, period. So I'm saying this to say that sometimes when you want to do something, you just gotta do it. Yeah, you know, what are we gonna say? I mean, yeah, no man is an island. You need people to do things, but if like you need to do it, just do it. Because, you know, some things just need to be done. But if you wait for somebody to come and, you know, you need validation from somebody, or you waiting on somebody to hold your hand, nah, just go ahead and do it.
I mean, we didn't want them to feel like we left them out. We all wanted to do a collaboration, us versus them back home, but it didn't work out. So we just said, we leave it. Hey, you guys run it.
Hopefully I'll be able to, to come.
But we can always revisit the conversation if you guys ready to actually make money off your craft, other than just be famous, popular in Liberia, and you got no money in your bank account.
Right,
okay?
Right.
Because you can be sitting home. The artists in America, they're sitting home while making money. Artists that have hits after hits don't have to work the rest of their life because he got royalty and he's getting paid off his songs. Every time you play it on the radio, you play it on your phone, you download it, he's getting paid. You guys are not getting paid. You guys need to get paid for your art because you pay for studio time. You pay the whoever.
Everything is money. Everything
exactly.
is,
so when you're doing all of that, like, how are you supposed to get that money back?
Right.
So that's how we have to do that. So it's just my plea. If you guys want to revisit the conversation, we are open to do that. But all we're trying to do is to get you paid for your work.
Yeah,
how hard can that be?
Definitely.
Okay, so now we're going to get into fun questions here. This is our entertainment questions. Okay. This is called How Well Do You Know the Liberian Entertainment Industry? You've been here for a while, so you should be able to get these questions correctly. I didn't show them to you because I didn't want you to look for the answers. Okay?
Hopefully.
Okay, first question. Which two Liberian artists are born on the same day? They're born the same day, the Liberian artists. Born on the same day.
Really? I'm definitely gonna feel that one. Let me take a sip of my wine here.
Two Liberian artists born on the same day.
I'm just gonna guess. Who do I even guess?
Just think of my guess.
Taku and Eric Jiso.
Wrong. Jody Clark and David Mel.
Oh,
They're
wow.
all born the same day.
I wasn't gonna get that in a long shot. Yeah.
Okay. Now this one is recent. You gotta get this if you've already been paying attention to the industry.
Let's see.
Which Liberian artist called himself the GOAT 001?
The GOAT 001? Mm-hmm. Baba Too Sweet. The GOAT 001?
Jay-Zeno.
Oh, for real? That's what he meant? I thought Baba Too Sweet. Well, and maybe the both of them, you see? Maybe the both of them, because Baba Too Sweet calls himself the GOAT. But hey, okay, whatever.
Jay-Zeno. Okay. Next question.
Shout out Jay-Zeno, you know what I mean?
First Liberian artist to ever make it to American Idol.
First Liberian artist?
Yeah.
American Idol? Just saying.
First Liberian.
Just saying.
She's not the first.
She's not the first, for real?
Zonette was the first.
Damn it. Zonette will get that with me because that was my jewel too. We used to chop it up. Oh, yeah.
You missed that. Zonette. Right. Okay, so how much you got? You got one so far.
Yeah. All right, shout out to Zonette, man. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, Zonette was the first. Okay, next question we have here. The first Liberian artist to ever tour the USA. Yes. We just talked about it here, dude. You can't miss this. First Liberian ever.
The first. Okay.
To come on the tour.
The first thing I would say is it got to be first in modern times because if I go, I am.
It's not more than 10. This is over 10 years.
It's always over 10 years.
Yes, so it's not more than. First Liberian artist ever.
First Liberian artist.
Okay.
It was either no, I don't know if you drop a name.
Okay, let's see.
Let me think.
Okay.
It's one or two. Mm-hmm. It's either Christoph or Dench, and I think it's Dench.
You got it.
Yeah.
Dench is the first. Christoph was not the first.
Dench came up here. He was on MTV. Dench was popping. You know what I mean? That was the year he came up here. It's Dench.
Yep. So you got one so far. Okay. The next one. Let me see what questions do we have here.
What you got? I need to redeem
Let's
myself.
see.
Yeah, right now I'm looking 1 for 8. It's not looking good.
Okay. Let's see. Last question. Did I even get the answer for this one? Did I? Wait a minute. I gotta Google my answer to make sure. I gotta get the right answer. It's my phone over there. Give me the phone.
This one? No, this one is mine.
I have a second phone. Oh,
is it that one? Let me go
let's see. Because I don't want to get this wrong, and that would be so crazy if I got this wrong. I'm thinking 2 answers in my head, but I'm gonna make sure. Okay, let me double check.
Yeah, because if not, you're gonna scan something. Anything.
Let me double check.
Anything on that? Yeah.
Let me double check to make sure that I'm correct.
What? That's horrible, though, man. I need to. Look at whole kamikaze going 1 for 8 on Liberian entertainment questions.
I think I got this one. I think I got this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope you know the answer.
Which city did CIC perform the first when his very first tour in the US?
Oh my God. Rhode Island.
You got it. You got that one. Yeah.
Your boy know his stuff, man.
So you got 2 out of 7. So you still failed.
Miserably. Oh,
you
man.
Failed.
I'll go study, man. I'll go back and go study.
Yeah, go study because you failed this one. Okay.
Oh, man. So I'm happy I got that one, though, because, I was following, CIC. Let me tell you something about CIC. These are some of the things that we need to talk about. These are some stories that, we get on the podcast and talk about, you know what I mean? And hopefully somebody going to be inspired from what we doing. So CIC, I knew him way before he was CIC.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I knew him when he was Zeke. And Zeke wasn't an Afro-pop artist.
Where was he? What music he was? What kind of music was he doing?
Zeke was a hip-hop artist. Zeke
no way.
Rap. Yes.
I would not have pictured him being a rapper?
Yes, Zeke was a rapper, like a rapper. We got mixtapes together and all of that from, back in the day.
I need to listen to it because I like him as an Afro-pop artist. Yeah. But I need to listen to it, okay, to see.
Definitely.
Okay, so a few fun questions here again here, okay? These are just questions. There's no right answer. Okay. Your favorite blog?
My favorite.
In the Liberian, we're going to keep the Liberian side. Your favorite blog so far?
Blog.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You going to make them get mad at me. Yo, man. Already get blown in a minute about.
Your favorite blog, yeah. We need to pick
man.
One. Just one. It cannot be 2, just one.
Okay, just one. Jeez, man. Okay, let me first of all start.
For all your entertainment news, who maybe the blog here once in a while, but you kind of like the content that they put out.
Yeah.
Don't think about relationship you have with them. Think about the work.
Right.
They're pushing the culture, getting it out there.
I'll say the influence, man. Liberian influence.
Oh yeah.
That's my first. But even though you say I shouldn't name a few, but I just have to.
Okay.
Okay.
So
and I'll say the influence because they actually have done what their name says. They have influenced, Liberian culture, not just music, but culture throughout, the past.
Shout out to Benita.
4 or 5 years.
Did you think, girl?
Yeah. Shout out Benita, and everybody behind, the influence, whatnot, right? But I gotta give it to just like, I guess you can say honorary mentions, right? I will give it to Bernice, C. Libera clearly has been with, C. Libera clearly, they buy and mind them for the Liberian influence, without C. Libera clearly, you wouldn't have no influence.
Oh, yeah.
And so then the third person is Cole, Liberia Stars Views.
Okay.
Now,
that's 3 top good ones there.
Yeah. And the reason, obviously, the Liberian influence has been the more popular one within recent times, right? But without those 2, there wouldn't be the influence. Back when when I went to Liberia 2009, nobody was playing Liberian music, nobody was blogging about Liberian, nothing at all. Those 2, C. Libera clearly.
Star View. Actually, Liberian Star View started before C. Libera clearly.
Yeah, actually, it did. Those 2 people then. I can say me personally and a lot of other artists, without them, we wouldn't be on this platform right now.
Oh, wow.
Wouldn't be for real. They were pushing Liberian culture before people knew what blogs were. Nobody knew what blogging was. They just, see somebody posting your stuff and they're getting a bunch of views, but they didn't really know what it was.
Yeah.
So I gotta give it to them. I just like giving people their flowers,
Right. Cool.
And there's a lot of other blogs too, but we just talking about what, from my opinion, what we feel.
Right. What's influence they had on the culture.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody doing their thing, man.
All right. So next one, your favorite talk show host in the Liberian entertainment industry.
That's crazy. Talk show
Why?
host. Because to be honest, I ain't how many Liberian talk shows do I really watch?
Right. Your
Now
favorite that you like
favorite.
that entertains you.
Oh man. That's a hard one.
It's a hard one?
Yeah, but then again, because it's between two people.
Okay.
You know, but I'm not gonna call. I'm just gonna call the one, and I gotta think about which one. And
okay.
You know, so again, I don't know. You know, if
there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody's gonna be familiar with it.
Okay.
But my favorite talk show host, man. Yo, to be honest, I mean, it doesn't have to be now, right? Just in general, we're talking about now.
In general, who's been your favorite that you watch? Doesn't matter how long it's been during the
Okay. So it will be from the Blue Link show, Blue and the Pape.
Okay.
Blue and the Pape. If you from Liberia or you listen to Liberian, you know, media, you know what I'm talking about. They had one of the best shows in the country for a long time.
Okay.
Blue and the Pape, they used to be there playing music, and the Pape too would be there narrating, like, you know, all the history of, I mean, it was just a dope show. So yes, they would be, you know, some of my favorite. Even though, you know, my man Blue is honorable now. He's in the he's in the legislature and all that, but you know, he's still part of us. Now. Yeah, you know, Blue's still part of us. So yeah, man.
Okay, so shout out to Blue.
Yeah.
Okay, so now last one. We're gonna play the game called This or That.
Okay.
First one. Mama Liberia or EKJ the comedian?
Wow.
Yes.
I mean,
this or that. Mama Liberia or what you going with?
Okay.
You only pick one.
Yeah, I can only pick one.
Yes.
And I have to explain it though. I can't just say it.
Okay, yes.
Okay, I'll go with EKJ. And here's why I'm going with EKJ. Because shout out to Mama Liberia. Like what he's done, you know, is amazing. He's done, you know, he's done a lot of good things, and he came up, you know, like real good, you know, for Liberian comedy. But the only one reason I pick EKJ because he is from like the in Liberia, he's from the new Matade, the Matade Fiamma era. Okay. Right? And while I was in high school, me and my boy Cully, he was living Matade era, and I was all stomping ground. So he from the block, ain't know what I mean? He from the they met from the era. Now, mind you, now I grew up in Painesville. I'm Painesville D block, Ibitowa Road all day. Okay. But I used to be around there, so that's my main spot. So yeah,
that's why EKJ get your vote. Yeah. Okay, next one. The Liberian influence or the Chiche Puerto Rico?
Oh my God. Yo, you why you come in there putting it? Yeah, yo, you gonna make them be like, don't let it point and I'll be posting Martina again. You know what I mean? I post my music, man, they ain't gonna post me again. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. I already told y'all the influence, the Liberian influence, you know, in my opinion was you know, the top blog right now. But when it comes to the influence in Chiche Puerto Rico right now, for me to pick, I want to choose Chiche Puerto Rico. Okay. Here's why. One reason why I'm doing, not for those of y'all that follow me and know my music, you know, every year I drop the song called The G's. You know, where it's a wrap up.
It was like a chronicle. It's like every time we look up for the G's.
Exactly. Okay. You know, and Chiche Puerto Rico, they was always on top. So all my people, when I get ready to do the song, you know, they'll start sending me all the Chiche Puerto Rico, what's going on, what's been popping throughout the year, you know. So I would get it both from like all the blogs all over. But Chiche Puerto Rico and Influence obviously were one of the biggest ones. But then again, why I'm choosing Chiche Puerto Rico, because when I came back, right? When I came back just recently, I came back to the States. Chiche Puerto Rico was one of the blogs that had something positive to say about me coming back.
Oh, that's good.
You know, I don't know personally who runs, you know.
Chiche Puerto Rico?
Yeah, Chiche Puerto Rico.
Isn't it Alpha?
Okay, yeah, it's
Alpha.
Okay. Well, I don't know Alpha personally anyway, but I know of him in the industry and whatnot. So shout out to him and whoever, you know, that is the brains behind Chiche Puerto Rico, because they, you know, they didn't put no lie on my name like, oh, Cozy got deported and he came back to America. You know, they weren't looking for a story. They were just genuinely happy that a Liberian artist throughout everything that I went through, because they know what I went through back home. Like the past 2 years have been crazy for me. You know what I mean? Like I lost my father. You know, I stopped doing the G's. Like it was real personal. So just me coming back, you know, my son graduating and everything, they just showed me love.
That's
so
good.
Shout out to Chichen Room, man, for sure, for real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the last one. CIC or Jazino?
Oh man, both.
No, you can pick
Yeah, no, both.
this or that.
Why you say that? Why you call it, man?
This
The
or that.
put 001 and
He
Chief
said his
Commander.
title, not me. Yeah.
Okay.
Commander in chief and what? The GOAT?
Yeah, the goat.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this or that. CIC or
So,
Jazino.
listen, man. Let me just tell you something. I got respect for both of these guys.
Okay.
And they are the leaders of the Liberian industry right now. They're
True.
the foregoers, the forebearers, whatever you want to call it. The two of them, along with Teddy Rod, they the three right now that's popping, that's taking this to the next level. Got to give it out to them. Jazino, before anybody knew who Jazino was, when he was just what was his name? What's his?
Oh, you had a different name before?
Well, no, it was just
Jonathan?
just his
It's
Jonathan
Jonathan
Lee.
Lee, okay.
You know, he's just Jonathan Lee. Before he was Jazino.
Yeah, right.
You know, he hit me up one time. Still got the message in here, and I'm not gonna show it, but I'm gonna read it.
Oh, okay.
Let me let y'all know that. Yeah, we've been in this, you know, for real. You know, we've been doing this.
So what you should look for that, mine take me just my personal experience with him. I did host his concert last year when he came up in Minneapolis.
Okay.
I loved the song, Butter My Bread. I was like so in tune with it.
Right.
I requested an interview. I didn't get the interview at all. I was like, okay, no worries. I'm not gonna fight it. If he doesn't have time, he doesn't have time. He didn't do any interviews, by the way. But I feel like, again, this is my personal experience with him.
Right.
I feel like he's letting pride get in his way. He's letting ego get in his way. And then sometimes it's okay to be egoistic for certain areas, certain people. But again, like I said, it was my personal experience with him here, so that's what I experienced. I didn't feel that he was humble enough. We've been running this for a long time. I was excited to see him in concert. I actually bought a ticket to actually go and watch the concert.
Oh wow!
But I later on
hosted,
hosted the concert because whoever that they have hired to host the concert was a no-show. So I was literally getting ready to go to the concert and like, hey, we need you earlier than that. I was like, why? Like, you got a host? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm coming to come watch the concert. But they were like, no, you got a host. We don't have a host. And when I came, hosted the event, it was great. He did a fabulous job. My thing was, he didn't want to socialize with the fans. He didn't give a thank you to anybody that organized the show. Even if you didn't have the time to say it on the microphone, you can always put up a blog or a post, or even reach out to people inbox, because it took us a long time to do this. Whether you were getting paid or not, you still have to thank the people. And when they had the event, there were people that paid thousands of dollars to be in the VIP with him, and he just got up and left.
Oh wow!
And it's people like, well, we pay money to hang out with this guy and take pictures, and what happened to that? And I just felt like you don't leave your audience, your fans hanging in that. That's not a good thing. That is not a good thing to do at all. They love you. Hundreds of them came from everywhere to come and see you. Even if you could just give them a hug. You don't even have to stand and take picture with everybody. But everybody came out to see you, and you just like kind of vanish, like just rob people off, like, oh, I'm gone. I'm not here to socialize with nobody. That rubbed me the wrong way, because I was like, I don't like when people come in concert and do that. You have security. You're not in no danger to say, oh my God, there was guns everywhere. Oh, I'm afraid for my life, so I got to get out of there. It was none of that. And you didn't put no post apologizing to your fans the next morning. Like, people paid money to be in a VIP for you, and they lost money. And this promoter looked terrible right now because you didn't forfeit whatever the issue was that you had with the promoter. Maybe he didn't pay you all your money. You still have to make a post to make your fans to understand what happened, instead of just leaving hanging. So that was my thing with him. That's why it rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like that. But you keep going into your experience.
Yeah, that was we'll get back to that. Everybody got different experiences.
Right.
But so what's the question out of it? So it was
this or that, just this
or that. Okay,
yes,
okay. And I was gonna say, just to show y'all, how much of a big dog I am in the game. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just in case y'all don't.
Sure.
No, I don't mind me. But Jesino is a good artist, and he been doing his thing. And this is a message he sent me before he was popping.
Okay.
From this is from 2017, and he's like, I've been your fan before I started doing music. I used to listen to your songs when I was in high school. I'm your little bro as well. Hope to get more of your advice and support. And I sent him back, definitely, bro. Thanks, and I appreciate it. And we got, a whole text
nice.
that's
there.
Nice.
That's really nice. So you're gonna pick him over CSC?
No. I'm just laying the basis that the relationship I got with these two people.
Okay.
So boom, that's like I said, that was 2017 that me and him started interacting. Right. This is 2025. CIC, like I told y'all before, CIC was somebody I knew before he was CIC, before y'all knew him as who he is now. At that time, he was affiliated with Tantan B record label, which used to be called Black Entertainment. Tantan B, who is currently now Tama Boyka, the president's son, Joseph Boyka's son. That's our brother. He been in the entertainment too for a while, and that's my boy. We used to collaborate. Okay. So that's how I met CIC, and this was in 2015. So the last time I seen CIC before everything popped off for him was he was actually, to be honest, at the time I had an opportunity to sign CIC with my record label, Liberty Entertainment, because like at that time we were one of the biggest hip hop groups there, and CIC, Zeke at the time, that's what he used to do, was hip hop rap. So he wanted to get down with us, and we wanted to do what we wanted to do for him too. But honestly, we just didn't have the hand to, sign him. I'm trying to get on too as well. So we didn't have it like that. But, he was our brother. He came around. We did music together and everything. And there was one time me and Cino were in the studio, and I was sick. And I was just laying on the studio floor, just, we just kicking and listening to music. And then he walked in. He sat there for like an hour. We just talked, talked about life, talked about music and everything. And then like some months after that, when he left the studio, it was history from there. He joined SOG Records, and that was that. Him and Kizzy, they started making beautiful music, and that's the CIC that y'all know today.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's the relationship, and that's the history from where we coming from. So
now where it's gonna boil
now that where we going? You said I can't pick both.
No.
You
get to pick one only.
I'll pick CIC, man.
Pick CIC. Okay.
Yeah, I'll pick CIC because he's one of the greatest Liberian artists that we have.
Yeah,
he's gonna go down with the greats.
Yes.
When they talk about great Liberian artists, when we're all dead and gone, he's going to be one of them in the top.
Him and Denj are my two favorites, and the reason why, because they make Kolokwa sound so sexy.
Oh yeah,
they make Kolokwa sound so good.
Definitely.
Like singing with Keman, like especially for CIC, the way that boy can narrow down his lyrics, like it just made sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite songs was Staina.
Oh wow.
I love that Staina song. The way he described the girl and what she, I was like, oh my God. They were singing Kolokwa, but he make it in a way. People that don't know what Kolokwa is, they understand that. And that's how I want to pitch in English, but he put it in a way where it sounds relatable. So that's the good thing I kind of like about his songs. But this been a great interview ever. So what we're going to ask now, the last question here, we know you're back and you say you're working on some music and everything. You're going to start giving us some new music as well.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So then, so we can expect new music. What else can we expect from you? Like, you're going to be launching like any concerts or album you're working on? We have a launch date or anything like that?
So we don't have dates for everything yet, but everything that you named is in the workings. We got music, that because as far as songs, I got songs that we've been recording for years that we haven't released yet. Some we're doing videos and stuff like that. And music on by, for y'all that know me being in the game, I got plenty of music. Music is going to come.
So we can spend more.
Yeah, sooner than later. As far as the concert, that is in the works as well.
Okay.
You know, obviously we've been away so long, and we have seen ourselves elevate to the game, and we got a lot of people that we can collaborate with. So the concert tour is coming in the works. You know, it's going to be a concert and then subsequent tour.
Okay.
You know, once we can get everything straight, you know, and like I said, we got the clothing line. You know, we got that coming out, the kamikaze gear. You know, we got that, and yeah, man, we just gonna, you know, continue to do what we do.
Okay, great.
You know, continue to inspire.
Tell the people all your social media handles where they can follow you on.
Cozy Kamikaze, simple as that. Everywhere.
Everywhere. So Instagram,
Facebook, Twitter,
YouTube.
YouTube, yeah, anywhere. Just Cozy Kamikaze. Once you spell it, it's gonna come out. You're gonna see something to be able to click on. You know.
Okay.
And you'll see the work. You'll see the links to all the music. You know, everything we doing. Everything is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So final word. Shout out to anybody you want to shout out.
Yeah, I want to shout out you first of all.
Oh, okay.
You know, listen, y'all, you know, I mean, you gave a little history, but you know, the people don't know. Like, you're not just anybody to me. You're not just a podcaster or, you know, radio personality or something like that. You know what I mean? You're like my sister. I've been knowing you for almost 20 years. You know, we graduated from the same high school, and you started doing your thing in the entertainment industry from the other side while I was on the other side, where we were both parallel sacrificing for the game. So I respect that. I respect you, everything that you've been doing. You know, we've been following each other since back home.
Thank
you know,
you.
so I appreciate that. And that's why I was like, yo, if I'm gonna do this, you know, I'm gonna do it with somebody who, you know, I got respect for, who I know personally. So, you know, a lot of these issues that I'm really only gonna touch on once on here. So, you know, I just wanted to, since you could give me that honor, I gotta reciprocate it. Thank you, man. Thank you. You know, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much for stopping by in the studio.
You know, shout out to everybody else who been, you know, supporting me. You know, everybody who has been sending me good wishes since I came back to the States. You know, everybody who been showing me genuine love. You know, a lot of the rumors that ran around, you know, is because of who I am. If I wasn't who I am, you know, I try as much to keep a little bit of my life private, but at the same time,
it's so
you know,
hard sometimes.
yeah, it's just, yeah, it is what it is. But, you know, a lot of people try throwing dirt on my name. You know, they created these rumors about me, you know, and it wasn't true. You know, some were true, I guess. You know what I mean? Whatever. Yeah,
what
whatever.
Were true? The
you know what I mean?
What were true?
Say, I don't know that. I'm not about to get a play, but I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo. But yeah, you know, so everybody that, you know, just kept their head up high for me and, you know, always supported me through my process. You know, shout out to y'all. Shout out to my family. You know what I'm saying? My wife, my kids. You know, everybody has been holding up. Everybody, man. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Minnesota. The love I've been getting out here is crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, I can't go nowhere in Minnesota without, you know, somebody coming up to me like, oh, bro, you cozy, you do the, yo, let me take a picture. And, you know, that's all love. Like money, it's not really about money. Yeah, we want money for music.
Right.
Well, I'm going to get money regardless. My people, we're going to be good. But just that, you know, that love reaction we get from people, man. That's why we do this music, to get somebody inspired and motivated to do something. So, shout out to everybody, man. Much love.
Okay. We'll see you guys.